Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, and this is Matt. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for a Craig test. We've had a few Matt tests recently, so now he's back in his ever-ongoing, everlasting mission to fool me. He's come close sometimes.
Yeah.
Simon Lipkin helped him come very, very close. Also, David Peace came very close.
Yeah,
but he feels this time that he's nailed it. He's got a routine that he thinks is going to absolutely floor me. If you don't know what a Craig test is, the idea is Matt, who is obviously a newer performer when it comes to the world of magic, uses his guile, his intuition, and his savvy to try and fool me.
Nails.
Huh?
And my dirty nails.
That's because you've been biking, haven't you?
Yeah, for 2 days straight.
Yeah. When I say biking to you, it's a completely different thing to the other people when they think of the term biking. Obviously, you know what I mean by biking. You've been truck, going around the country, biking.
I've been riding my motorbike.
Riding your motorbike around the country.
For 2 days straight.
2 days straight. It's very exciting.
I think so.
Bank holiday coming up soon. You're going to bike?
No, because I'm working.
Oh. Sucks to be you.
I had a day off, so I rode my motorbike.
Well, you had 2 days off.
I had 2 days off.
There you go.
I had 2 days off.
Don't get used to it. Right, okay, so you've got...
I mean, it's what? End of May? And that's the second time this year I've had 2 days off in a row.
You're not working hard enough. Should have filled those
That's
days.
not working hard enough, apparently. Okay,
What you got?
I'm probably not going to fill you, but this is really cool.
Is it?
It's like genuinely... Look, okay, so this isn't... You know, you can go on to... You know, I go on them sites that just do like all the weird and macabre stuff.
Like Pornhub?
Not Pornhub. Like, remember saying it before, like there's websites you
Red
can go
Tube.
on to. No, it's got nothing to do with porn.
I'm not interested then.
All right, well, thanks very much for watching, everybody.
Get on with it. Right.
So there's websites you can go on to that do like... I got into doing this, but I remember...
Are we still talking about porn?
Technically, yes. Do you know the show Porn Stars?
Yes.
That kind of porn, not the kind of porn you're talking about.
Right.
So that I watched that show like religiously for years. When I lived in America, it's amazing, and they get people bringing in like weird and wacky shit all the time. And I'm like, where can you buy this kind of stuff? And there are actually websites you can go onto, like emporiums and things, where you can get like weird shit.
Cool.
So I've been looking at some like weird magic stuff. There's places you can buy like alleged like fucking Houdini's handcuffs and things like that, which you can't. They're not verified. But this is real. Like, genuinely. And I was like, oh my God, it's like an actual thing. You can Google it.
Right.
Google it. Mike can Google. Google it.
What?
This is a declassified document that was a classified document. It's now been declassified. It was declassified in 2003. It's a CIA document, right?
Okay.
Real one. And it's about a specific person.
How did you get it?
I bought it.
Your dodgy websites.
It's not dodgy. They're legal. This is illegal. It's declassified. So because it's declassified, it's open to the public now.
Okay.
So you can buy them. So this is a copy of the actual document,
Okay.
right? About someone that we all know. And I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know this had happened. I didn't know this was a thing.
Okay. Who is it?
I can tell you who it is. And then everyone knows who this person is. Everybody knows who this person is, and there's a CIA document solely revolving around something that happened to this one person.
It's not David Copperfield, is it?
It isn't.
Okay.
I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to point at Mike, and Mike's going to say the first thing that comes into his head. Right?
Okay.
This is going to be my first prediction. My first prediction.
Okay. I was actually making a prediction. This is very exciting.
This isn't part of the prediction.
I'm not going to know who it is now.
You are.
He's very excited about this, isn't he?
This is my first predict. This isn't part of the trick. This is just because I want to prove that Mike's going to know who it is.
Are you drawing them?
No. So this classified, declassified CIA document is about Uri Geller.
No.
Uri Geller. Seriously? You don't know who Uri Geller is?
No.
Are you lying now?
No.
You're winding me up, right?
No.
You don't know Uri Geller?
Do you seriously?
I'm shocked.
How can you not know who Uri Geller is?
Is there a chance that we're old and he's not?
do you think I was that? He's literally got his phone out of his pocket to Googling. He's now filming and Googling Uri Geller. How do you not know who Uri Geller is? You work for a magic company.
He's from Israel. He's considered one of the best mentalists on the planet. What's worrying is we've just filmed a Talk Magic with Liam Lebanon, who is another mentalist from Israel, who spent half of the Talk Magic talking about Uri Geller.
And he still doesn't know who
he
he is.
watched it to edit it and still doesn't know who Uri
It shows how
Geller
much
is.
editing he does, doesn't it? No?
No.
He's
Right, I wrote spoon and draw a picture of a spoon.
I would have
But
got
he
that.
was famous for bending spoons.
Yeah, that. He's the spoon bending guy.
The
We'll just
spoon
cut that
bending
bit out.
guy.
Oh, now he wants to cut something out.
Are you actually going to edit something now? Right.
And
I
you
drew
know
a
what? He's,
spoon.
he's very famous, Michael, for basically trying everything he can to get publicity. Like, if anything happens in the press, he'll be the one that's responsible for it. Like, he's always, it's like, oh, Boris Johnson's no longer Prime Minister. I made that happen. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Like, he's always claiming everything.
But before he was famous for doing
And
spoon
back,
bending.
I'll say one thing. Many years ago, he used to do this thing where he'd get everybody who was watching live on their TV to get a spoon and hold it in their hands, and he would bend it over the airways. And the amount of people that would go, "Oh my God, it worked! Uri Geller's bent my spoon."
Which is obvious bollocks. But,
Yeah.
but before he did spoon bending, which is what he is predominantly famous for, and if you ask 99% of the people alive on Earth today who what was Uri Geller was famous for, they'd go spoons.
I'm willing to bet
Apart
Jack
from
wouldn't
you.
know.
Jack!
There's no way he's going to be able to hear that.
Jack! Yeah, come here, mate.
Oh my God.
This time we're getting the waffly bollocks out the way before.
Yeah.
This show goes off the rails more and more and more every second.
Timestamp for when the trick
Yeah,
starts.
if I was to say a name to you, I want you to say the first thing that comes into your head.
Right.
The first thing that's associated with this person's name.
Okay.
Uri Geller. Are you fucking for real?
I froze, I don't know what to say.
Do you know who Uri Geller is? No. Go away. You're fine. We don't need you anymore. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it, mate.
Okay.
Cheers. Thanks. Fuck's sake. Are we really that old?
I think we are. I bet Kay would know. I bet Liz would know. Sarah
Certainly
definitely
isn't
know.
okay. Right. So anyone that's... Do you want to put a timestamp on this where we can just skip to now? So
Now's
we can
when the
start
trick begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, somebody in the comments will do it for him. You're expecting him to put a timestamp
No,
in.
that's-
Half the time, a description is like...
I realised what I was asking to who for a second. So, okay, so before Uri Geller was famous for doing spoon bending, which is what he was predominantly known for, his main thing that he did was people would think of an image or draw an image down, and then he would impossibly tell them what that image is. That's what he became known for before he did the spoon bending thing. It was like a clairvoyant thing or mind reading thing, and he kind of sat on the fence between the two, whether he was mind reading or whether he had like a special way of doing it. But he didn't actually ever let anybody know, right, how he did it. But that was what he was famous for, was for pulling pictures out of people's heads, right? And he was that good at it. And this is true. This isn't waffly bollocks. This is actually true. You can Google it with the powers of the internet, okay? The CIA picked up Uri Geller in 1973. And from the 4th of August to the 11th of August, they took him to a secure compound somewhere in America, and they ran tests on him every day for 7 days to try and figure out how the fuck he did it, right? And this is the document by one of the scientists that was there at the time that details every part of that 7 days.
Right.
Of what happened. So it states on here, the objective of this group of experimental sessions is to verify Geller's apparent paranormal perception under carefully controlled conditions and to head toward an understanding of the physical and psychological variables underlying his apparent ability, right? So they basically just wanted to take him and lock him in a room and figure out how the hell he did this stuff. The way that they did it is they actually put him in a hermetically sealed room. That's not Geller, that's a picture of a girl, right? But this was drawn at the time. So they put him in a hermetically sealed, soundproofed, airproofed room, airlocked room, behind 2 doors. There was no windows in this room. and there was 2 doors, one in, one out, like an airlock, right? And all that was in the room was a chair. He had a piece of paper and a pen, and they put an earpiece in him so they could tell him when to start. That was it. Yeah, and he was locked in this room, and then what they'd do is they'd get random people to draw random things, put them in an envelope, and stick them to the outside of the first door, right? So there was no way he could get anywhere near it. They would then go into his earpiece and say, okay, start the experiment now, Yuri, and he would just draw it. How? It's not possible. The first one he did on the first day. So,
You could do that. I'm going to put Matt in this hermetically sealed room with a dice.
It says 2 drawings used in the first experiment selected by randomly opening a large college dictionary and selecting the first word which could reasonably be drawn. That's important. So they gave somebody a document, a college dictionary. They had to open the college dictionary or throw it up in the air and land on a page or something, randomly select this number, pick up to that page, and then go through each word in that document, whichever page it was.
Oh my God. Wouldn't it have been awesome if it landed on P and it was penis? Oh my God.
And you just had to draw cocks. Yeah. And then let's go through to the first word that could actually be, you could visualize as a thing and you could draw it. So the first one was a fuse. The first word was fuse, right? And he came up with all these random different stuff, and he had like a cylinder with noise coming out of it and heat and all the stuff that a fuse would be, and he drew a firecracker, right? That was the first one, which wasn't exactly a fuse, but that is a fuse going down into a firecracker, right? So it depends on your interpretation of the word fuse, because a fuse to me is something that goes into an electrical thing like you get on motorbikes and cars and stuff, but that is also a fuse.
Yeah.
So they were like, it's good, pretty inconclusive, the word fuse, and then he comes up with that. It could be interpreted in many different ways.
Yeah.
They then, the weirdest one that he did, and this was like later on in the week, and they got somebody to draw. So you've got all these different random pictures of stuff. He drew God. He drew a sausage. That's Earth. That's space, or like spaceship and stuff. And these are all things that people pulled, like a bridge. These are all things that people pulled out of these documents that then had to draw them. The weirdest one, which was towards the end, and bearing in mind, halfway through the week, they did it in various different ways. So I think they did it with him inside the room, and then him outside of the room with somebody inside the room. They also changed locations about halfway through the week to use a different sealed room, just to make sure that he hadn't been able to get in. And I mean, it's a CIA fucking government building. There's no way he got in there beforehand. But just to make sure, they changed the building halfway through. And he didn't know that until at the time. So halfway through the week, they went, yeah, we're not going there today. We're going to go over here. And there's a different room. And so there's no way he would have even known that. So he couldn't have got into that room to tamper it. And every single time he smashed it. Like, really bizarre. To the point where that was what the person drew. So they just said to this person, one of the scientists, so not someone they'd brought in, not someone that he could have influenced, one of the scientists to draw something. The scientist drew that.
Grapes.
Bunch of grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to see what Yuri drew? You want to see?
Yes, I do. Wow.
Fucking identical. Not only was the size and the way that the stem came off exactly the same, there was 24 grapes, which is exactly the same as the one on the picture on the previous page. That's not the same picture. That's a different picture. That's one picture. That's the other picture. 2 different pictures.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Wow.
How the fuck did he do that?
Did you have an impression pad?
I think they supplied him with the piece of paper.
Oh, right, okay.
To be honest. But nobody could figure out how he did it.
At one point, did he get to the scientist to rip the paper up?
So, one of the main things here is, as a result of Geller's success in this experimental period, we consider that he has demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and unambiguous manner. Unambiguous is a very important word there. So basically, the CIA have locked Uri Geller in a room, in a sealed room, for a week, and they've just gone, he's obviously a mind reader. He was that good, he fooled the CIA. But how? Do you know? Do you know this story?
He's fooled the entire world for like 40 years.
Exactly.
So.
Do you know this story?
Do
you know this happened?
No.
Really? It's genuinely, I'm not playing, it's genuinely true. You can Google it right now. It's a real thing.
Believe you.
Do you know, you don't know how he did it?
No.
Nobody knows how he did it.
No.
Or do they?
I don't know.
Yuri's thing was, he never told anybody whether it was supernatural, clairvoyant, like weird shit, or whether he'd figured out a method of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of sitting in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knew which side of the fence that he sat on.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of, I can do this, with no kind of inkling or hint as to how. He just did it.
Got it.
Should we try it?
Okay.
We'll make this as fair as possible. I'm going to put that there so I can't see it. Move this towards me. What I need you to do in a second is just grab a page.
Yeah.
Yeah? Look at one. Don't look at a bunch of them because you're going to confuse me. Look at one page. Pick a page. Yeah?
Yeah.
Lift up. Have a look at that page. If it's words, if there's a document, do what they did. Look through for the first word that you can imagine as an image.
Okay.
If it's an image, imagine that image.
Okay.
Okay? Hold this with your left hand. Look up, and when you've had a look at the picture, drop it back down. Drop the folder down on top. Got it?
Yeah.
Sure?
Got it.
Get that out of the way. Fair?
Very fair.
Multiple page document. Quite a thick document.
Yeah.
Could have been any page.
Could have been any
I still
page.
don't know if you looked at a word or an image. Could be anything.
Honestly, at this point, I'd be so impressed if you could do this. You'd be like some sort of Svengali. Like, it'd be amazing.
It'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Shut up.
It's a weird one. See, what am I doing?
Drawing.
Am I reading your mind? Or do I have another method?
Would you like me to really answer that?
I think I've got it. For the first time, will you tell these good people at home what you saw?
I saw a heart with an arrow through it, like Cupid's arrow.
Like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. So maybe there's two people that can do this. Yuri and me. I rest my case. If the CIA are watching, I'm open for interrogation. Please take me during the school holidays because it's really busy here though and I'd like a week off. Thanks. See you soon.
Very good. I've got thoughts.
Okay.
Before I do, I forgot to tell you. So I went to this lecture in Ipswich yesterday. And
You didn't go to a lecture. You did a lecture.
Yeah, I did a lecture. And,
That's different.
and it was very nice and people were lovely and I really enjoyed myself.
Okay.
But Wayne Goodman was there.
Okay.
And we met up for lunch before I went into the lecture.
Love Wayne.
He gave me a dick pic.
He gave you a dick pic?
Yeah.
Of his dick?
Huh?
Of his dick?
Yeah, there's a dick pic.
Okay.
Would you like to see it?
Wayne's dick pic?
Yeah.
I've got loads, but if you want to show me one to send you, then fine.
He gave me this. It's his dick pic.
Very good.
Believe it or not, you can actually buy those from Wayne Goodman. It's a dick pic.
Dick pic.
Anyway, I had to show you that. I forgot to show you earlier on.
That's very good.
Busy working. Okay, so I'm not going to even say how it works. You know I know.
You told everyone during the performance.
Yeah,
we
all-
can't even cut that out. It's
all-
in the middle of the performance.
We all know. We all know. Anybody who saw that will know. Like, anybody.
Of course.
However, that's totally not my sort of trick.
No.
As in, I would never do that in a million years because I'm not into the whole waffly bollock storytelling bullshit that you're into.
No.
But I could see you doing that in a parlour show or a stage show. Not really a close-up thing.
It's
but,
not a close-up thing.
But I could see you doing that in a parlour show, somewhere like a Bear Pit style performance, somewhere like the House of Secrets. I could see you doing something like that and literally having people like hanging on every word and having like getting 15 minutes out of it. I really would.
I mean, how long was that?
Close
long.
to 15 minutes.
But we had 10 minutes at the start,
Yeah.
which was just caught shouting at Jack and stuff. So
I mean, what's the tutorial like, is it?
it's an hour and 12
How the fuck
minutes.
is it an hour and 12 minutes?
It's a-
This is me. You understand the fucking irony of me saying that?
Yeah.
How is that an hour and 12 minutes?
Hour and 12 minutes.
How? How?
There's basically, he says at the start, have we said who it's by?
No. How?
Are we saying who it's by?
Of course we can. It's Chris Rawlins,
Yes, it is Chris Rawlins.
and it's called Declassified.
It's
right?
called Declassified. So, at the very start of the tutorial, he
I
said,
know Chris is thorough, but fuck.
I've never seen a Chris Rawlins tutorial before. He's the only tutorial I've ever seen that rivals yours.
He's a very clever guy.
He's very clever. He's very articulate. But I don't think it needed to be an hour and 12 minutes long.
I don't think I could have got that to an hour and 12 minutes.
He does a thing at the start where he says, if you just want to learn how it works, I'm going to do a quick flash tutorial now of just telling you how the prop works. That's about 90 seconds long. And then the rest of the time, he's talking about the presentation. About what to say, how to say it. There's like additional things at the end. There's a pro version of this as well. So there's a few minutes on what the pro version does, which is different. There's then additional ideas and stuff and additional routines at the end of it. But there is a massive chunk in the middle where he goes through like how he's developed the prop over the years and stuff. Which when I'm sitting at home at midnight and I just want to learn the trick. I'm sure you've picked like that particular how he develops the proper, and he's got like the different ones of these as he was, and I'm like, that doesn't really affect me too much. It's cool to see like the process of how he's done it, but it did get to a point halfway through that I was just like, I just want to learn the trick. But then he goes into so much detail. Like for me, this kind of thing for me, I've used his routine and what he says, and a lot of in his live performance that he does, which is a genuine live performance in a bar, which I love the fact that he's gone out there and done an actual live performance to a real person in a bar. I think that's great. I basically used his routine that he says. A lot of the things that he said during that are things that I've done, things that I said. But for something like that, where it's got a very obvious story to it, I like to just go off on my own and do stuff. But if you're not that way inclined and you like to have everything laid out for you, then this is the best described tutorial I've ever seen of an actual presentation.
Is there a live performance?
There is a live. I've literally just said there's a live performance.
Yeah, sorry.
Did I not just say that? So as far as a routine goes, if you want to do the routine that I've just done and the one that Chris does on the tutorial, then he goes into so much detail. Like he basically goes into it word for word of exactly what to say and when to say it and how to lift this and how to do that and how to put that there and blah, 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 blah. So it's the most in-depth, detailed tutorial I've ever seen when it comes to a presentation, which is great. But yeah, I think the story behind, and it genuinely is real. Like you can Google it. That actually happened to Uri Geller. And the whole document is real. It's all of these things, all of these documents and stuff that are in it, all of the words and everything, and all the pictures that are drawn were actually what he did.
That's really good.
Which is really cool. It's like an actual piece of history.
That would be a perfect routine to then transition into some fork bending or some spoon bending or something like that.
Something
as part
Yuri
of the
did.
stage show. I
Can't believe you don't know Yuri Geller is.
Yeah. You know what I'd like? I would. What would be an interesting way of doing that is obviously you're going to know the image ahead of time. I would have an invisible deck set up, and on the back of every card, I would draw that picture, and I'd put it back together as an invisible deck. And I'd come out and I'd say, hey, I've got this deck of cards here. On the way, I had a feeling about something you'd do, and I wrote it down. I had nothing to write it on, so I wrote it on a playing card. And I turned it over in the deck. Can you hold on to that? That's kind of my prediction. Then I'd go through the waffly bollocks. After the waffly bollocks, and they've picked this, I would say, okay, so, you know, you've picked a drawing, you can see it in your mind's eye, but at the very beginning, I made a prediction of what I told you the drawing would be, which is in that there. But I want to ask you a question. Obviously, you've never met Uri Geller, But what card would you say, if you had to guess what Uri Geller's favourite card would be, what would you say? They say whatever, and you now take the invisible deck out and you spread through the cards and you say, look, there is one card facing the other direction. And if I take that out, you can see I've drawn a heart with an arrow through it. Is that what you looked at? It was amazing. Because the thing you're going to puzzle about afterwards isn't that I actually predicted the exact drawing that you picked. It's the fact that I drew, what was the name of the card again? 7 of Diamonds. I wrote it on the back of the card that you named.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that'd be really cool. I think
Powerful.
And that's something that I did on my Penguin Live, and but with a celebrity prestige, and it would work really well with this. I very much like it. Like I say, I don't think I'm capable of doing that much waffly bollocks, but I could see you doing this. I could see this being a big part of your stage show. I really could.
I love that it's an actual thing. I love that it's an actual document. It's a real document, and you could genuinely go and Google it and find out afterwards and be like, oh shit, yeah, like it actually happened. I love that. I love the fact that it's a true story. I'm a big fan of true stories.
Yeah, it's very clever.
And I think using a true story, there's something that's that cool. Like, did you know that had happened?
No.
I didn't know that had happened.
Me neither. I mean, obviously, the only problem with it is these days not many people know who Uri Geller is.
Clearly. How can you not know who fucking Uri Geller is? You work for a magic company.
I like that. I like that. Chris is a good thinker. He thinks a lot about his releases.
He's been working on it for a really long time. And he's put a lot of thought into it. And there's a lot of in-depth detail in the tutorial and stuff as well. But yeah, it's great. Am I being... am I a tainted, bitter old magician now? Or do you think that would get past laymen? They wouldn't know.
Are you having a fucking laugh? Of course it would.
Yeah?
Why would it not? That method that we're using here
Yeah.
is a method that I use multiple times in other effects.
Okay.
It's one of the most common... Nobody would have a clue. Nobody would have a clue.
Okay.
That is... I can't think, if I was trying to create that sort of effect, I can't think of a better way of doing what is presented in here
Than that.
I think that's...
I'm just an old, tainted, bitter magician now, apparently.
No, but what you are is you're somebody who's come into magic very late on, and you've been immersed in it. Your journey into magic has been very different to others, in that obviously you've got the background in performing, but you've kind of been almost like exposed to magic in such an insane level. Like you've just really been exposed to it. Very, very quickly, and so
You just have to take a look at this room.
exactly. So because of that, I think that you look at some stuff and you're like, well, you know, that's not going to work or whatever, or I'm not too sure, because you've just had so many methods thrown over you over a short period of time. But the method there,
That's why I asked the question.
yeah, no, that would kill.
Okay.
That would kill to lay people.
I mean, he does like 2 or 3 live performances, like in the trailer and stuff, and he gets some really good reactions.
Yeah. So what would you give it? Because I just saw Sarah poke a little head up at the door.
She didn't look as angry this time, though.
Well, no, because I don't think she needs me. She needs you.
Oh, she need me for?
Ryland's here.
The kid.
I know. So I'm going to go back into the sales room and show Liz my dick pic. You can sort Ryland out. Give it a rating.
Can't do it close up.
Nope.
It's a lot to carry around.
Yes. Although in the context of a small stage show, it's not. It's that.
Yeah.
Context is king.
I was still talking about close up and reasons that you couldn't. So close up, no go. Parlour, cabaret. It wouldn't go in our stage show, but you could do it in a stage show.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's real. The biggest thing for me is that it's an actual story that actually happened and it's real and you can Google it. Because that, with the kind of performance that I do, where I am kind of letting people peek behind the curtain a little bit, but it's all stuff that's plausible. I don't go for the paranormal route. I go for the this could actually happen route. And because I go for the this could actually happen route, that fits perfectly into what I do. because it did happen. It's a real
Like I
thing.
say, I could see you killing with this.
Yeah.
Just give it a rating.
You can't. The only thing that's dragging it down is that you can't do it. But I don't know whether I don't think he designed it as a. He does mention you could do it close up, but I don't think you could. So he didn't design it as a stage piece. So I kind of have to rate it as a close up piece as well.
Okay.
Which, in my opinion, I don't think it is.
Okay.
So I would go. What would you give it?
Well, I'm not going to do it. I'll give it 79%. But if I was you, I'd give this like 90 odd. I think this is great.
You can't tell me what to give it.
I'm just telling
Now
you
I'm
what.
inclined to not. I'm inclined to give it 79 now, just because you said that.
Don't then. I don't give a shit. I've been asking for 5 minutes for you to give it a rating. Just give it a
I
rating.
just don't want to go and see the boy. Yeah, I think I would give it 92.5.
Have we ever had a 0.5% before?
Don't know.
You're as bad as Ryland.
92.5.
You're as bad as Ryland.
Because you can't do. I don't want to mark it down to 90% just because of the close-up thing. Because I don't think that's really fair. But I can't give it 100%. 92.5.
There you go.
92.5%. 79% for me. 92.5% from you. It's great. You know, Chris is a clever guy.
I hope I did his presentation justice.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. I was very keen on your presentation. I thought you did a great job. Very good. So this is going in your little stage act.
It'll go in my cabaret case, yeah.
Go in your cabaret case. Great. I think that you should do that. I really do. I think this is great. But get yourself a clipboard.
I do need a clipboard.
92.5% from Matt. Thank you very much for joining me on this Craig test. It's been emotional. It's been emotional. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another Matt test or a Craig test or some sort of test. You want to get this? It's available from all good magic dealers.
How much is it?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I picked this up from Alakazam. So you can get it from Alakazam. You can get it
I looked,
directly
but
from
I
Chris
can't
Rawlins. So get it from.
Can you get it
all-
directly from Chris?
Yeah, you can. I think you can. I don't know. Try. Reach out to him. See what happens. We'll be back again soon. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Craig. If you want something to, if you want to suggest something for me and Matt to look at, let us know down below and let us know who you want to perform it. So, for example, if you want Matt to do a trick on me, let us know which one you want him to learn, and he will. Likewise, if you want me to do a trick on Matt,
Don't say that, because it'll be the most fucking hardcore slight card manipulation trick ever known. And they'll be like, I want him to do that.
Okay, please bear in mind that Matt has the technical ability of a wet fart. Okay, please remember that.
Terrible.
But if you want to see a trick that's mainly presentation with no skill whatsoever,
That's me. That's my forte.
That's his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
He's your man.
Yeah.
So yeah, bear that in mind. Let us know in the comments down below. We'll be back again soon. You see Ryland, I'll see Liz. Say bye to everyone. Say bye. Don't look at me. Look at them.
Go and see that.
Oh, for fuck's sake.